Well, it is 9:30 and welcome everyone to the Medicare 101 webinar. This webinar, information for pre-65 and 65 and over, is presented by the NCRO Insurance Committee annually about this time every year. My name is Howard Barron. I will be your MC for the webinar. The webinar is pretty lengthy. It will go over lunch until about 1 o'clock or so this afternoon, Eastern Time. This webinar is being broadcast, obviously, as a webinar, so both across the country and even internationally if you happen to be out of the country. So, I'm trying to get my slide to advance, and it's not. There we go. So, so the webinar is something that the NCRO Insurance Committee put together about a number of years ago now, and it is primarily focused for people that are pre-65, 63 or 64, as they are starting to age out of their corporate insurance and into Medicare. So, but we also know that many of our attendees over the years have been people that are currently in Medicare and just want additional information on how the Medicare system works and all the nuances with it. This webinar includes not only general Medicare information and pretty extensive amounts of that, but also will take you later on through some of the unique FCA, Stellantis, Chrysler, whatever we want to call ourselves these days, benefits that are available to you through two accounts. One is called the Retirement Healthcare Account, another called the Healthcare Retirement Account, or HRA. We will go through those later on in the webinar. This year, well, each year we update our presentations. They're pretty similar to what they are in the past, but this year there have been some particular and some pretty large changes that have been going on with Medicare Part D. So we will be going through those a little bit more in detail when we get to that, and that will be presented by John Kaiser. So we have three presenters here today. We have Paul Gritt, who will be kicking us off in a few minutes. We have John Kaiser, and then we have myself, who will be taking you through the material that we have laid out. After each presentation, we will have a Q&A session. Make sure that when you do have questions that you do have throughout the webinar, that the questions do pertain for general topics and not something that is specific to you in particular on your account or your particular life issues, because obviously this is the questions that we want to make sure that are for the general attendees. So also we will be having a break at approximately, let's see now, at approximately a little after 11 o'clock. We will have a 10-minute break and then we'll reconvene for the remaining presentations. So without any additional introduction, I would like to turn this over to our fellow retiree, Paul Gritt, who will be taking you through an overview of Social Security, and then that will be relatively brief, and then we will roll into a little bit more of the healthcare issues. So Paul, why don't you take it away on going through.
Okay, everybody. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Just as a piece of context, I spent 40 years in Chrysler Engineering and retired in 2008, and have been part of the NCOR IC ever since then. Okay, so let's start out with Social Security. If we look at just simple milestones and timing, the earliest you can receive Social Security benefits is 62 years of age. However, if you take it at 62, you will get less than your full authorized Social Security amount. If you delay until all the way till 70, your amount will increase every month you delay until you reach 70. Once you reach 70, further delays will not increase your benefits at all. The other key thing to understand is what is full retirement age, or FRA. It's determined by when you were born. And as you can see here, if you were born between 43 and 54, your retirement age is 66. If you were born in 1960, your retirement age is 67. And if you were born between 54 and 60, it goes up about a month for every year higher than that. And the question is, well, why do you care? Well, the reason you care, well, we'll get to that in a minute, sorry. So anyhow, the smart thing to do is about 2 months before you're 62, and maybe, past that for all of you, you can go online to the Social Security website, and they've got a really nice calculator in there. So if you put in your personal information and create an account, it will give you exactly what you're going to get at each age. So you don't have to guess or estimate it yourself. They have all your data in their system, and they can tell you exactly what you're going to get. But anyway, getting back to full retirement age. So here's kind of what it looks like. And the question is, well, why do you care? Well, the reason you care is because of what's over here on the right side of the slide. If you decide to work after you retire and you're taking Social Security, if you make more than $22,320 a year before your full retirement age, you will lose $1 of Social Security benefits for every $2 you make. In the year you actually reach full retirement age, you can make up to $59,000. And if you make over that, you'll lose $1 for every $3 you make. Once you reach full retirement age, and you can see on the left when that'll be, depending on when you were born, then you can make as much as you want, and the government doesn't care. So if you're doing some work in retirement, it is important to know those numbers. Now, the big question is, okay, when should I start taking Social Security? And I know this is a little of an eye chart, but eventually this will all be up on our website. And this is also at the government website, so not a big problem. But bottom line, you can see if you were born between 43 and 54, by the time you're 66, which is full retirement age, you get 100% of your benefit. And if you were to wait until you were 70, another 4 years, you'll actually get 132% of your benefit. And so for each year you were born, this is kind of a chart of how much you're going to get when you start. So that's something you have to determine based on your own personal financial situation, whether you need the money right away or don't. And the question is, well, gee, it gets a little complicated. How do I get a little more insight? Well, here's what I call a break-even analysis. So what this shows you is, if you look at the blue line, if you were to start taking your benefits right away at 62, remember, once you start taking your benefits, that monthly amount, except for cost of living adjustments, is constant. So this is how much the total amount of, sorry about that. This is the total amount of money that you will get. If you were to delay until, in this case, full retirement age of 66, you can see that when you get to about 77, you will have received the same total amount of money that you would have received if you started at 62. And once you get past 77, you'll end up with more total money. If you delay all the way to 70, the break even is around 80. And after that, you'll get more total money. So this becomes a combination of your own personal health situation and your own personal finances, so you can make an informed decision as to when you should start. So the major takeaways for the whole presentation is this. You don't automatically start your Social Security at 62. Go to the website, look at all your options, and make an informed decision. Another very key important point is that you and your spouse, your Social Security accounts are basically separate. So you can each make your own separate decision as to when you would like to take Social Security. Doesn't have to be at the same age or the same time. The one interface between you and your spouse is whichever spouse is the higher earner and has the higher Social Security, the other spouse can take their own Social Security, or they can take half of the higher one, whichever is greater. And that's something you can decide to do. Once you decide, that's it. So that's the bottom line. So if there are any questions, you can put them into the chat box, and our moderator will throw them up. So I'll wait a minute, see if anyone has any specific questions. Okay, see here, is A-Light still associated with Chrysler for Medicare updates, or is it via benefits? I don't know what A-Light is, but yeah, it is. Well, via benefits doesn't really do Medicare updates, so I'm not quite sure I understand the question. Anybody else have a comment? Any other? Howard or John?
They're asking about Medicare insurance via benefit provides that. All right, might just be an outside organization that's contacted them.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
All Light is one I've never heard of, so. Okay. I gotta put this back to,
That's the only question we've got.
okay.
We'll have to follow up on that because none of us are familiar with All Light.